So today we'll work on Hadoop commands. So let me enter into my machine. So in my last session I discussed about various cluster configurations, right? So this machine is purely a single node machine, nothing but my all master services and of course the slave services or master demands or slave demands. Okay, so everything is running on the same machine here. It's a single node machine, that's it. Okay, right. Now as I discussed earlier, everything we're going to perform through commands only here. So that's the reason I mentioned very clearly Unix knowledge really helps you in this regard. Okay, so here on this particular terminal, you just click on a terminal. Alternatively, you can use Control Alt T. Okay, so this Control Alt T, or otherwise directly you can press here. Then you're going to get a terminal like this. Okay, something like command prompt in your Windows machine. That's it, not more than that. So what I will do now, I'll introduce some Unix commands, and followed by I will take you to the Hadoop commands also. Okay, so the guys who are already comfortable with Unix, please bear with me for some time. Then after that I'll continue with the Hadoop commands. So I'm not at all going to give all the list of commands, right? So just I'm giving some useful commands, that's it, because you're going to get a lot many commands based on your requirement and based on your job, I mean to say the business. Now coming to this, if you say pwd, nothing but present working directory or the current working directory, it will show you the path actually where exactly you are after opening this terminal. So just a moment guys, let me zoom in. Fine. Okay, that's good. Okay, so it's showing the home of this particular user, nothing but it's showing this particular location, this home location. Okay, now if I say ls, this ls commands lists all the files and folders existing in a particular directory. So all these, like these directories and files you can view from this terminal itself. So what's the simple command for that? ls. Okay, this ls command, okay, gives the list of files and folders in the current working directory. That's good really. Now if I want to create a directory on my desktop of this Ubuntu machine, how I can create using terminal? See here, for that either you have to go to the directory called desktop, or from here itself you can create. It's up to you how you're going to create. Okay, so if I want to change my directory to desktop, how I can change? Just say cd followed by the desktop. So this will take you to desktop. Okay, now how to create a directory? So for that just say mkdir. Okay, this mkdir is a command which is used to create a directory, nothing but make a directory. Nothing but mkdir space. Okay, you just mention your directory name here. For example, I would like to give my test directory name as test30. So this is my directory name here. So here you can see a directory is created in front of you. Okay, so where I created this directory on desktop here. So here you can check this present working directory or the current working directory, home user desktop. Okay, here you can see this. That's fine. Now if I want to create a file under this test30 directory, how we can create? So just let me change my directory from this desktop to test30 directory. So how I can do that? Just say test30. Okay, cd space 30. Now you are under this directory. So how you can create a file? So we are having some file editors or file creators, that I can say, file editors like gedit, vi, like the way. So here I'm using gedit. So gedit is a file editor by which you can create a file or you can update a file also. So let us create a file here. So gedit space, and my file name is Anil test. Okay, this is my file name. Hit enter. Now your file is created and it's opened to write some content. Okay, so here I'm writing something. Hi to all. Okay, welcome to my YouTube channel. Okay, YouTube channel Shreyas Data Insights. Okay, happy Hadoop learning. So some content I just typed here and save this one. Okay, right, I closed this. So what I did, I just created a directory on desktop, and even I created a file also here. You can see here, but I have shown you via commands. So if you want to see the content of a file, because this file contains some lines of raw, some data, right? Of course, some sample lines I have written there. So to view that, you can use the cat command. Cat followed by file name. If you give, the content will be displayed on the console. Okay, the content will be displayed on the console. So if you want to edit, nothing but if you want to add few more lines to this particular file, once again you have to use a gedit. So let me use the same thing. Okay, once again, so gedit followed by my file name. So the file is opened here for me in edit mode. So I can write few more lines here like this. That's it. And I'm saving this once again, and just I'm closing this. Right, this is how you can create a folder, and how you can create a file, and how you can edit the file also. Right, now how I can get back to my previous directory, because earlier I'm in user desktop, right? Sorry, home user, right? Then after that I moved to desktop, then I moved to this test 30. So if you want to come down one directory level, so just say cd space cd space dot dot. Okay, like this. Otherwise, at a time just you want to come back, okay, to this particular home directory, just say cd. Okay, this is one level. So whenever you're having a nested directory structure, you can say cd space dot dot. So one directory down. That's it. Now these are the some Unix commands I can say in terms of creating, and of course we are having some copy commands and other commands also. At the same time, even we can verify the Hadoop version. So if you say Hadoop version, okay, so this command gives you the install Hadoop version. So here you can see very clearly I just install Hadoop 2.3.0. This is the Hadoop installation version, install version here. Okay, at the same time, if you want to verify whether Java is already there or not, you can say Java hyphen version. Okay, so here you can see very clearly it's showing it's a OpenJDK. Either you can install Oracle Java, or you can open Java also you can install. So Java is also there, right? Java OpenJDK version, and it's showing the version also. So while installing Hadoop itself, okay, we had to plan this which Java version we would like to go with. So for that you have to go with the Hadoop Apache Hadoop documentation. There they will specify very clearly whether you have to go with the 1.7 or 1.8 or which particular version that you want to go. So just they mention the compatibility level. Okay, so till 2.6, this one of 2. I mean to say 2.6 of Hadoop, this Java is good. 1.8 is good. So we have to go through the manual before installing Java. So anyway, Java is there for me, and of course Hadoop is also there. I have shown you in my last session itself what are the contents of my home directory, various Hadoop ecosystem components I have shown you, right? That's fine. Now similarly you can get the host name also. Of course it's displayed here itself. Host name is localhost, and if you want to get the IP address of this particular machine, you can say ifconfig. So just this will give, okay, apart from the loopback IP address, here you can get the IP address of this particular machine here. So here you can see very clearly this is the loopback IP address, and here you can see the IP address also 192.168, like the way. So this is very much needed when you're trying to connect this machine with some other machine in the network. Okay, that's fine. Now we will verify whether Hadoop is running already in my machine or not. So how are you going to verify that? So just say JPS. So here you're not getting any Hadoop related services. Okay, so it means the Hadoop is not at all running here. So what do you mean by JPS? JPS is a command, Unix command, which tells you about the background running Java processes. Okay, so all these master processes and slave processes are all are the Java process only, right? So if I hit JPS, it's come or returns with running Java processes in the background. So if you say like this, I'm not getting any Hadoop services, so now I have to start my Hadoop services. So yesterday, or in last session, I can say, instead of yesterday I can say last session, I just explained, you know, the various folder structure of the Hadoop. In that I have shown you a folder called spin. In that spin folder we are having shell scripts, executable shell scripts to start our Hadoop. Okay, so before that I would like to show one more file. Sudo is nothing but super user do gedit dot bash rc. So I'm giving my password here. Oh, sorry. So this is the important file where you're going to configure all our Hadoop and of course ecosystem components. Here you can see. So for me, I set the Java path here. Okay, Hadoop related environment variables, pig related, hive related. Okay, and of course I installed even HBase, Phoenix, Uzi, Scoop, Flume. So all, you know, even hcatalog, Giraffe. So all this, like, you know, everything, the configuration settings, the environment variables and the parameters, everything will be set under this particular file. Okay, so right now back to the discussion. We'll just go to the Hadoop installation folder, right? From there we will try to start our Hadoop here. So what's the command to go there? So cd Hadoop 2.3.0. under that we are having a folder called spin. So if you say ls, here you are getting a lot of executable shell scripts, like, you know, start all.sh, stop all.sh, or start dfs.sh, stop dfs.sh. So all these guys are the executable shell scripts. So in real time, starting all demands or stopping all demands is not recommended. Either you have to start the Hadoop related followed by the unrelated, that is fine, or you can start the demands one by one. Both are good. Okay, if you say start all.sh, this will start all of your Hadoop services and ARN services at a time, but this command is not recommended in real time. Okay, of course, as a developer we don't get any opportunity to execute these commands, but even then, please do remember. So here you can see very clearly it's saying initially name node is okay on, and then after that starting name node and a starting data node, starting secondary name node, right? Showing everything. Right, now you can see the end demands also, like resource manager and of course the node manager. So here you can get complete list here. Okay, so now if you hit the JPS command here, okay, see here you're getting node manager, resource manager, so these two guys related with the YARN. Similarly, you're getting name node, data node and secondary name node, so these are related with your Hadoop. So our HDFS and of course resource management, everything is up and running. This means that our Hadoop server is up and running. There is no issue with this. And what about these numbers? These numbers are the process IDs. Actually we don't have any work with these process IDs in real time. This will be useful for the Hadoop admin people. If a particular process they want to kill forcibly, or particular process they want to diagnose how this is working, how many resources it's consuming. Okay, so for that purpose these particular process IDs will be useful for the Hadoop admin, whereas for us really nothing to do with these numbers. The only thing what we can refer here is whether you're able to get the list of services, something like related with your YARN and Hadoop, you're getting or not. That's the only question you have to think for. So here all services are up and running. So in a similar fashion, what I can do, I can stop all my services also. Okay, so these two commands are not recommended in real time, please do remember guys, because this is a local machine. That's the reason I'm taking a liberty and starting and stopping all the services, but these two commands are not recommended in real time. If and all, if you want to start anything, you have to start them services one by one. That is the best option. Otherwise you have to start the HDFS related one time, and of course YARN related other time. So these are the commands. Here you can see it's giving very clearly, right? This script is deprecated, instead use stop dfs.sh and stop yarn.sh. So it means that it's starting and stopping DFS, nothing but has Hadoop and YARN related commands different separately here. So this is the best option. Okay, and now we verify. Here I'm not getting, once again, so I'm not getting any services back. Now I will show you one more way how to start the services individually here. So for that you have to say Hadoop daemon .sh start name node. Okay, so this starts my name node. Okay, so this starts my name node. Once again, yeah, right. So now you can verify using with JPS command. So my name node is running. So similarly what I can do, I can start my secondary name node. So this command only starts my secondary name node. Now I can start my data node. Okay, I just started my data node also. Now you just verify with JPS. See a list of components, list of services, name node, data node and secondary name node. Similarly, now we'll start with YARN related. In daemon.sh start, okay, resource manager. So this starts our resource manager and followed by of course the slave item and nothing but the node manager. Alright, so we just started all Hadoop and Yarn related services. So apart from this, we need to start some history server also. This is not really required now, but whenever you would like to work with Apache Pig or Hive, this history server is also mandatory. Why it's mandatory, I will let you know once we are talking about Pig. Okay, but just I will show you how to start the history server also. So this is the command which starts the history server. Okay, I think yeah, typo error, sorry. So now we can see by with JPS command our history server is also up and running here. Got it? Fine. Now you can get the web user interface also here. I'll show that also. It's taking some time. Okay, so this 50070, so this starts my name node. Here you can see this, it's navigate to my name node, localhost colon. So my host name is localhost and this is the port number I have to give 50070, and name node is running in this particular port. So there is some web ports and everything. So come to the discussion here. So this is the 9000 is a port number where my name node is running, right? Anyway, so this is the page what you can see. So this just describes about your name node related. So when it started, what is the version of your name node, when it got compiled, what is the cluster ID and what is the block pool ID, and here you can see the cluster summary also. Okay, what's the capacity of your cluster, how much DFS is used and how much non-DFS is used, and you can see the percentage, and here you can see very clearly the live nodes, only one, because I already mentioned, right, this is a single node machine where all my services are up and running, and there is no dead node and everything. And here you can see some decommissioning. So in Hadoop we are having, okay, commissioning and decommissioning procedure, nothing but adding few more servers or few more nodes to the existing cluster is nothing but commissioning. And if you're not feeling like, you know, you probably maybe you're not feeling any particular uses with the nodes and you're just trying to remove them, okay, so that particular procedure is nothing but decommissioning. So adding and deleting the nodes from the existing cluster starts with commissioning and decommissioning here. So I have not gone with such process, so it's showing 0 here, 0 decommission here. That is fine. And here you can see it's showing some journal manager and all, and after that it's showing about this particular name node storage. I have already mentioned name node maintains a metadata in two areas. One is in RAM and one is in the disk space also. So this is the location where our name node stores its metadata. So these concepts already are discussed, right? Please visit my previous sessions. I explained very clearly the purpose of secondary name node also I mentioned, right? Periodically it's taking the metadata and it updating the metadata and giving the latest metadata to name node, and it's saving the metadata copy of metadata, okay, in the disk location also. So anyway, one metadata copy is now running with my main memory of name node, and this is the physical location, okay, where the FS image and edit logs are going to be stored here. right? So now you can get the snapshot summary also when it started, inodes and delegation keys and other stuff also. And here you can see this loading edits. So the moment when I started Hadoop, this is the location where it fetched the edit logs and fs image, so that it got the metadata and it started my service. Got it? Fine. Now here you are getting one more option, right? Browse the file system. So if you click here, you will be landed in the data node portion. Okay, you will be landed in the data node portion here. So this is the area where your data will be stored. Okay, so already I'm having one file, customer file, some home directory, temporary folder and user. Like the way I just am having some files and folders in this location. So default replication is 1 here. I already mentioned. Okay, I can make the replication factor if you are not taking any, if you are not going to change any parameters. So by default you be getting the 3 replicants, but I have changed the parameter from 3 to 1. Why? Because this is a single node machine, so I am not having any rack awareness concept here. I have not implemented that. It's just a single machine. I'm not having any multiple machines with a multiple node, I mean to say multiple racks. So maintaining multiple copies is not a good idea, right? So that's the reason I just am maintaining replication factor as 1 here. Similarly, if you look at this is the generation 2, so that's the reason I just got the default block size as 128 MB here. But what is the file size, this particular file size? Okay, this is a file. I am having some sample file like cast. So and after that you having certain file like this. Okay, some file I'm having here. Okay, so this is the content and this is a file type and this is the size of the file here. So I already mentioned, right, 128 is the default. It doesn't mean that it allocated only 6 MB or sorry 6 KB for this file and we just wasted the remaining memory. It's not like that. Only a 6.02 KB got created on Hadoop distributed file system. It just showing it's a default block size. It doesn't mean that it just wasted this much memory for the small file size. Fine. Now this is the location where you can talk about your data node. Now what we'll do now, we will just copy and we just create a folder in HDFS and we'll copy the files also. And I'm talking one principle, right? Files are immutable. What do you mean by mutability and immutability? So you cannot create or you cannot update once the file is there in the Hadoop, but you can append the file, that's it. Appending is possible, but creating and updating is not possible once the file got moved to Hadoop. Okay, so now what we'll do, we'll just work with some more commands. Here I'll be showing how we can copy the particular file, okay, from this local file system to Hadoop. Okay, so right, so just I'll be coming out from here because nothing to do with here this location, because already have started my Hadoop service up and running, right? Fine. So how I can create a directory in my Hadoop? So for that I had to say HDFS DFS hyphen mkdir, okay, and just mention your folder name. Okay, so here I'm giving Shreyas. Shreyas is my directory, and where I want to create, I would like to create on HDFS. So that's the reason I said very clearly HDFS DFS hyphen mkdir, and this slash indicates that you are referring to a data node, and followed by just I have given my folder name. My folder name is Shreyas. Hit enter. Okay, now here you can see, just say refresh, I got the folder called Shreyas. It's an empty folder, right? We don't have any data here. It's an empty folder. Now what we'll do, we'll just copy this file. Okay, we'll just copy this file to a folder called Strayers. Earlier we created this, right? On desktop test30 we just created Anil test. So now what I will do, I will copy this file to the folder called Strayers, which is there in the HDFS. So how I can copy? So for that I can use simple put command or get from local. Okay, what I can do, I can use a put command or I can use the get from local. So both are having the equal, okay, equal result. Actually both will perform in the similar manner here. So we'll see now that. So now to copy that I had to go to this complete, I mean to say I had to go give the complete path, or from here also I can do that. So I'll be showing that how to do that. So I can say HDFS DFS hyphen put, otherwise let me show to the directory location. I will be going to the location CD desktop and test30. So if I say ls, here I'm having the file called Anil test, right? Now here I will be giving the command. So HDFS DFS hyphen put, and what is the file name? Anil test. This is my file name, and where I want to copy this file, I would like to copy this file to Strayers folder, which is there in the HDFS. Right, that's it. Now what I did, I have copied my file Anil test, which is available in the local file system, to my Hadoop folder called Strayers. So we just say refresh. See here, Strayers is our directory. If you click here, you can see this Anil test file. Okay, I just copied from local file system to HDFS. So what's the command you have to give? You can give the put command. Alternatively, you can give copy from local. Okay, I will show with another file. For example, okay, I'll be creating very quickly one more folder here, or one more file here. Let me do that. Yeah, just I'll take the sample data, that's it. I'm copying all this content, okay, and I'm just creating a document here, or a file. So this is the test file, test 007. I'll put some name here, and I just copied my content here. Okay, this is a file. Now this file is available there on the local file system. Now I have to copy this file to HDFS. And one more thing, guys, why we need to copy the folders or files to Hadoop? Why we need to copy? Because whenever you want to process any data set for a particular problem statement, the data has to be there in the HDFS, not in the local file system. Got it? So for example, if you want to run a maximum and minimum temperature problem, or if you want to run any IoT sensor related data, or if you want to run some word count problem, whatever it may be the problem here, first of all the data has to be there in the HDFS. So that's the reason we are copying the data from local file system to Hadoop. Got it? So if you want to process a word count on this thing, test 007, how many times Apache came, Hadoop came, download came, documentation came, like that way. Okay, so for that you cannot process this particular file if this is available on your local file system. So what we have to do, we have to copy this file to Hadoop first of all, then only we can start processing this particular file. So let us copy this file, okay, to Hadoop, but not with the put command. I'll be using now, okay, the other command here, copy from local. So HDFS DFS hyphen, okay, copy from local. Both are identical, guys. Put and copy from local, both are identical. So what's the file name here? The file name is test. One second. Okay, a lot of things are there. DFS hyphen copy from local test 007, and where you would like to copy? We would like to copy the folder called Shreyas. Okay, this is the folder. Alright, so I can give my folder name Shreyas. That's it. Okay, so here you can see just now we copied this file, right? Fine. Similarly, we can use get command also, just opposite to this. Whenever you want to get any folder or file, okay, from HDFS to local file system, nothing but opposite of this, you can use copy to local, or you can simply say get. Both are identical. Okay, so for example, if you see here, I'm having a file called cust, right, in HDFS. So how I can take this to local file system? So for that you have to say, for example, you have to say HDFS DFS hyphen get, okay, and provide the file name, and this is available in the HDFS, and where you want to copy, you just provide the complete location. Home, user, desktop, because I would like to take this file to desktop. That's it. Now what happens? This file will be copied to HDFS. So from HDFS to local file system. So we can go and verify now. Okay, we got this file from our Hadoop to local file system. Just opposite to put command, right? Now, similarly, what you can do is you can save the same file. The file content remains same, but you can save with a different name also. How we can do that? Just provide the new name. So the file content will be the same, but all the way you are saving with a different name. For example, I want to save this as cast 007. That's it. Now what happens? The actual file will be saved with a new name. Content remains same, guys. Here you can see this content remain same here. There is no problem at all. So alternatively, here in the place of get, you can write copy to local. So this is also valid here. Copy to local. Okay, so let me write here. So I can say here copy to local. So this is also a valid thing. So this file is already there, right? I'll be saving with a different name, 008 or 9 for example. Okay, now the same file is going to be saved with a name called cast009. So this get command and copy to local, one and same, both are identical here. The way we have used earlier put command, okay, and copy from local, both are identical here. Now before going on other commands, I would like to show what you mean by processing in Hadoop. Okay, now what we did, our data is available here, right? If you say, so we are having a folder called Shreyas and we are having some files. I just shown you how to take that data from local file system to Hadoop. Now we'll understand what you mean by processing in Hadoop. For example, on this data you would like to give a count. how many times hi came, to came, all came, happy came, Hadoop came, learning came. So this is your business. Okay, this is your business. This is exactly what you're going to perform now. So for that, what we need to do actually, we need to take an IDE. Okay, let me write here. Yeah. So right, like we're having a file, right? This is our file. This is the file, and of course the file name is Anil test. This is present under this particular location. Okay, right. So now what is our problem statement? This is the data which is available in HDFS, and I would like to get a count here, like how many times all came, okay, how many times happy came, how many times Hadoop came, like this. Individual count I would like to get, how many times hi came, to came, w came, t came, my came, yt came, like the way I would like to get the count here. So this is my problem statement, nothing but I would like to get the word count. So for this, generally what we have to do, we have to take an IDE like Eclipse. There we have to write the mapper logic followed by the reducer logic, and then the driver, of course, we need, and we need to create a jar file with some name. For example, I'm putting some name here, abc.jar. So this jar now consists of the mapper logic, reducer logic, and driver logic, and we need to run this jar file. Okay, right. So instead of developing everything from the scratch, Hadoop distribution provides some example programs, example programs. So we can use that example jar file and we can run that, and we can understand what you mean by processing with the help of Hadoop. So let me do that. So now the data is available in this location, right? I'll be showing that location here. So we'll go to that location. Just a moment, guys. I will zoom out a bit. Fine. So cd Hadoop 2.3.2, and if you say here, we are having other folders, right? Bin, lib, sbin, share, and here we are having a folder called share. And again, if you go to the share, we are having one more subfolder called Hadoop. And if you say ls, here you be getting Hadoop, map reduce here. And if you say ls once again, here you can see this Hadoop map reduce examples 2.3.0.jar. So this is the location. So for your reference, I'll be copying this location. Okay, I'll be copying the location. So in this location, okay, so we are having a jar file. So what's our jar file name? Here you can see this is our jar file name, Hadoop map reduce example. So this is our jar file name, and this is available in this location. So actually we need to improvise the business logic based on the problem statement with the help of the mapper, reducer, and driver, right? And we need to create a jar, and we have to run on top of the data. But instead of that, I'll be showing the data processing with the available jar file itself. Okay, all right. Now we'll see what's there inside of the jar file. So Hadoop jar, and write the jar file name. This is the command, guys. Please do remember. I'll be copying anyway. All right. So if you say like this, what happens? Hadoop jar followed by the jar file name. If you say like this, then it will display the available class files or the program files. So just type as enter here. So here you can see example programs what are available here, like aggregate word count, okay, db count, grep, join, okay, random writer, sort, sudoku, like the way. And finally we are having one more thing called word count. So a MapReduce program which counts the words in the input files. Now I would like to run this program and I would like to show you. Okay, this is the program. Okay, this is the program here, word count. So this program is available under this example jar file. Okay, fine, that's great. Now let us run and verify. So how we can run, what we need to provide. Let me write the command first and I'll be explaining. So Hadoop jar file name followed by the program, because multiple programs available, right? So that's the reason you need to specify the program name here. Word count is the program we would like to run, and followed by the input data location. Where is your file here? So this is the file, right? Under the layers I'm having a file called Anil test. Okay, I would like to provide the same thing here. And now I need to provide the output location of the HDFS. So let me provide Anil test op. Okay, so this is my input file, of course, and this is the output folder, right? So just I'll be copying this complete command once again to the notepad and I will explain what I did really here. Please understand, guys. So here Hadoop jar, this is how you can run the jar file. So to run jar file, so this is a command. Okay, command to run jar file, and this is the jar file name. Okay, this is the jar file name, and this is the program name. This is the program name, and so this is the file location or path at HDFS, not in the local file system, HDFS, right? And what about this Anil test OB? So this is the output folder at, so this is also located in HDFS only. So we're going to get the output also in the HDFS only. So input should be available in the HDFS. At the same time we're going to get the output also in the HDFS only. So this is this command, I mean to say the syntax means really what I have given. Now let us run, guys. Take some time and we need to observe some things. So immediately you can see here it's initially created a job ID. Okay, that's the first thing, and you can see running the job. So this is the first thing you need to make a note, the job ID. It's created some unique job ID, fine. What else? What it's created? It's saying initially you can see this map is 0% and reducer is also 0%. We discussed this earlier, right? Unless otherwise you are not completing the mapper process, you are not going to get any reducer. So all the mapper process will be completed in parallel. So here you can see initially map and the reducer also 0. Now the map got completed with 100%. Now it's going to give the final result also. Okay, it run very fast. We'll go and examine once again. So once it completed the mapper process 100%, finally it's completed the reducer also with the 100%. Okay, so map is generated the intermediary output and this reducer provided the final output. And look at here, guys, earlier we got a job ID, right? Now finally it's saying the same thing, completed successfully. Okay, completed successfully. That's fine. Okay, fine. Now you are having some counters, built-in counters and system counters, or we can go with the custom counters also. I'm not going to discuss at present now. But finally, how to view the result here? So either you can directly go and visit the output, because we said the output has to be there in the HDFS only, right? So just say refresh. Look at this, an output folder is created with Anil test OP, what we have given in our command itself. In command you can see this very clearly, right? Here I said the output folder. Okay, and this is the same thing what it created. And success is that just kind of a flag, a status message. And here you can see part hyphen or hyphen zeros. If you click here, you be getting. So Shreyas came 4 times, data insights came 4 times, Hadoop came 4 times, Happy came 4 times, learning all, see, and it's giving all the way, right? It's giving all the way here. So it's giving all the word count here. Okay, so this is how you're going to get the result. So alternatively, what I can do, you can verify the output from the command line itself. So how to verify the output in the command line? Just say HDFS DFS hyphen cat, okay, and provide this location. This is one way. See, on the console itself you can get the you can view the result here. Got it? So either this can be used or directly you can go from the web user interface. Let me write here. To view the result. Okay, so you can get the result either from the command line or from the web user interface. In real time, sometimes you may not have access to this particular web UI, so that's the reason better to go always with the commands only. Great, right? Now if you observe, earlier we got some data right on the console, so collectively we be calling this complete set of information as MR dump, nothing but map reduce dump. So this information is known as MR dump. At the same time, guys, please make sure that you are always giving the new output directory. So you cannot give once again the same output directory for your output. For example, look at here. So I'm once again running the same command. I'm not changing the output directory. So what happens now? We got a nice error, right? So please read the error here. Output directory already exists. So that's the reason, guys, please never give any existing output directory location. If you want to rerun this application, okay, and just provide new output directory location. Now this time I just changed from Anil test OP to Anil test OP1 here. See, now you can see the result. Now it's running as earlier and finally ending with the commands. Fine. Okay, that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this session. I have shown you what you mean by copying the data to SDFS, and after that we run with a sample example jar file, and finally I have shown you how to view the result also, right? In my next session I'll be showing few more commands. Thank you.